Welcome to another episode of What's the Point podcast, a unique show about men and their mental health. There are no doctors, no professionals, just real men talking about real stuff. And now, the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point.
Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of What's the Point podcast. I'm your substitute teacher for today, but Bill's on vacation, so what happens when the substitute teacher's not in the classroom? Or when the substitute's in the classroom?
The kids don't pay attention.
Yeah,
Amen.
I will be misbehaving today.
Amen.
But when the substitute teacher is the one that usually misbehaves the most, what is that going to bring is my bigger question.
That's tough to say.
It's going to make it interesting. Well,
Make it something.
We have a great show lined up. We have John in our midst, John Christianson, and of course I'm here with Mark Wick. How are you, Mark?
It's great to be here. Different
Without
Bill.
Yeah. You feel freer? You feel looser? You feel a little less judged?
I don't.
Or where
I don't feel as much stress.
All right.
Yeah, I don't feel. Yeah, like I'm going to be judged.
All right. How about you, Andy, behind the glass? You feeling any safer now that Bill's not around, or where are we at?
Well, I'm not feeling a whole lot different.
Okay.
For a specific reason.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be shitting me.
You know what?
Gentlemen, how are we doing from the beautiful Pacific Ocean as I cruise across water?
Yukon Bill!
Wow.
Wow.
A quick production note. I've been listening to you three for about 10 minutes. We have some things to talk about.
We've had things to talk about for nearly 40 years, buddy.
I don't like the way I was portrayed before the show started.
We can do that now. We got time.
Wow.
Well, thanks to Andy's wonderful technology and all his skills and all that kind of stuff, I'm coming to you guys live from the Pacific Ocean. I'm chugging my way along at about 30 miles an hour towards Vancouver, Canada, which will be our final stop and then flying home. So I certainly miss you guys today. I've learned one quick thing I've learned about being on a cruise ship. If you have the opportunity, try to get on deck 15. If you're on deck 15, that's where the pool is. That's where the pizza is. That's where the free ice cream is. The hot dogs and hamburgers are. Kids that are with us never leave that deck. So deck 15, try to get on that one if you can.
How many pools are there on there?
7.
Okay, because I couldn't tell which one. There was a great shot of you and your Speedo, but I don't know which level that was. But that was great.
Sure I sent that to everybody. But,
that's a whole new level is what that is.
But thanks.
Yeah.
And it's ironic, and this is the God's honest truth. It's ironic that Bill would chime in because the question I have, we've got the I got a question, and we've worked through the fact that apparently my cremated ashes don't belong in Mark Wick's front pockets.
Can I stop for a second? Like,
Please.
do you think this was a trust issue?
Oh, of course it is.
Okay, yeah.
Trust and control issue. We know who Bill is.
Wow.
He didn't trust us alone. But my question was going to be,
I'm feeling judged again.
if you could be any kind of boat, what kind of boat would you be? And John, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, yeah. So, I think, I mean, for right now, for my life, I'd be a pontoon boat.
A pontoon
You bet.
boat. All
Just
right.
lazing along, just on the tune,
Yeah.
listen to some music,
Have maybe a margarita
laying
or
in the sun.
something in
Maybe,
there.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Andy, kind of boat you want to be?
I would be a boat that's permanently stuck in the harbor.
Oh, anchored or just got a
can't-
hole in her, kind of
just can't
listed,
go
or
in
what
the
are we
water
talking
ever,
about?
ever again.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Does that have anything to do with having young children, or where are we at with that one?
Well, it's kind of my personality plus the young children.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Got it. Wick?
They're not anchoring me down. I'm anchoring me down.
Got it.
They're just helping.
Wick?
I was going to be a cruise ship until I saw that Speedo picture. So I'm going to say I would be a fishing boat.
Like a high-end bass boat? Or are we talking 12-foot Alumacraft with
a nice, fishing boat, 16-footer, just to be around people that are fishing all the time.
Okay.
See what they're catching.
All right. Sailor boy, how about you?
You know what? It's not about a specific boat for me. What it is to have people that take care of your every whim, need, and desire. whatever kind of boat that is, whether it's a pontoon, whether it's a fishing boat, or it's tied up at the dock, that's the boat I want to be.
That's the
I am
boat,
getting used to this. And wait till I get back next week, Meyer. I'm going to start wanting some stuff.
I
I mean,
was
if
just
you
gonna
could
say.
bring me a Sunrise Daiquiri Virgin with no alcohol in it, that would be wonderful.
I'm on it. There will be one waiting for you. So, well, before we go to break, I mean, I'd be a tugboat because I'm so used to pulling you guys along anyway. Might as well frickin' stay and roll. So, anyway, well, it's time for a quick break. We're glad to have everybody. We're glad to have Bill. Hopefully, in the next 45 minutes, we don't hear some, man overboard kind
Well,
of
Bill,
thing. So,
you can't stay, right?
Nope, actually, Bill is leaving. I
Dang.
just wanted to duck in real quick. And JC, I love seeing your face, man. I'm so excited you're doing this. You're going to have a great time. These guys are going to be, you should be able to expect professionalism and decorum. You won't get it, but you should try to
Right.
expect
You should
it.
expect it. Yeah.
Yes, and but otherwise, it's great seeing you guys, and I can't wait to be back. In actually next time we're gonna do this in a little over a week, and I'm gonna be back in studio, and I can't wait.
Well, I'm a little bit hurt that we rescheduled, and it was my date we rescheduled, so I have to be here without you. That stings just a little bit, Bill.
Almost seems like it was on purpose.
I
John.
know.
So where are we headed to, Bill? Where are we headed off to now?
do you not listen? Vancouver.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
no, like,
welcome
are
to
you-
the show, Mark Wick.
No, are you headed?
We land in Vancouver tomorrow
No,
morning.
no. Are
and
you
then,
headed for that daiquiri? Are you headed for pizza? Are you headed for
Oh,
burger?
oh,
Gotcha,
Dad.
gotcha.
I
Well,
see.
we're 2 hours behind you, so I've already done the buffet twice.
Yeah.
But I walked in between. So I did the buffet,
Yeah.
I walked, and then felt like I deserved, so I stopped back. And the nice thing is you can get all your desserts for breakfast, too.
Why wouldn't you?
So, yeah, so it's been a full day already at 10:39, but I plan to do a bunch more.
I'd take a
more,
nap
so.
right now. Nap up. Get ready for the afternoon
Get
food
ready
run.
to push it, and then tonight, it's
Yeah.
boogie oogie oogie and all that. So yeah,
I
you
hope-
guys know me all too well. I'll be in bed by 8 o'clock Vancouver time. So anyway, thanks for Andy for doing the surprise popping up. Good luck, guys. Y'all look great and have a great show.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks,
Billy.
buddy. Enjoy the rest of your
Bye.
vacation.
All right, we'll be
See
right
ya.
back.
Bye bye.
At Brand Inc., we know your business's reputation rides on every detail, especially when it's on the road. Our commercial vehicle wraps combine eye-catching design, 3M-backed installation, and a seamless process built for busy teams. Whether it's one truck or an entire fleet, we help you turn heads, build trust, and grow your business. Your vehicles are always moving. Make sure your brand moves with them. Start your project at brandinc.com. That's Inc with a K, brandinc.com.
You're listening to the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. And now your hosts, Mark Meyer, Bill Deckus, and Mark Wick.
Well, we're all trying to recover from being checked in on by Bill as he was standing on the deck of a boat. How about that, Andy? You're a
Very
technical.
sneaky,
You're
wasn't
a
it?
technical wizard back there.
Yeah,
I
that
love
is-
it. I love it. Wick, you okay? You gonna be all right?
I'd be okay. It was
Big
what,
brother
What
is-
an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got John Christianson in studio today, and John, you've been how long you been coming to Face It?
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yep, I started in January of 3 years ago.
January of 3 years
So-
ago. Wow, time kind of flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, John, we'd just like to invite you to take a couple of minutes and share a little bit about your mental health journey. When did things go sideways, or when did you start to think that I needed to do something about my mental health? Just share a little bit about that with us.
Sure. So, my first recollections of mental health issues, namely depression, I think I noticed that the first time pretty specifically in my junior year in high school. Some things that I was really involved in and had a lot of fun with all kind of ended, and seemed like everything in my social circle kind of ended all at once, and I felt really isolated, and so that was kind of the first feeling where I was like, well, this is not right. Like, there's sadness, but this isn't that. This is something different.
Was it not fitting in? Was it
No.
I don't belong? Was it?
It was just this overwhelming. I think grief is the biggest thing I can put to it. I was just very overcome with sadness.
Okay.
Like something fantastic had just gotten away from me and I can't get it again or whatever.
Okay.
Like, I think that's close I can relate it to,
Sure.
right? But that's kind of what that felt like. And I I battered that one down into my subconscious for the next, I don't know, 5-6 years. And the next time I addressed my mental health was when it was in 1994, and I had been engaged to a woman. I left the Twin Cities, moved down to the Orlando area with her, and that relationship fell apart. So I came home. She remained in Florida, and I was that breakup took me greatly by surprise, and so kind of spun back into that again. But that was honestly my first experience also with seeing a therapist, a talk therapist, and that turned out to be an extremely positive thing for me. I haven't loved every therapist I've ever seen, but certainly it's been a way net positive in my life.
What were your emotions like at that time? I mean, you can say you had a lot of feelings probably associated with the surprise of the breakup and the sadness associated with the breakup. Do you think there was another level to it that went beyond that led you to therapy?
Sure. The context of the breakup was kind of, hey, we're all a few years out of college now. Get your shit together, right?
That's what was said to you.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I did. I got my shit together and I moved down here with you, and I'm trying to find a job and all. But the way things disintegrated. So it just it didn't pan out. Now, in hindsight, very much for the best.
Sure.
That person moved on and had a great life, and me too.
Yeah.
What did that? You said I was feeling depressed, sad. Like, what did that look like? Did you become more isolated? Did you stay away from people? Did you self-medicate? Like, what was the depression for you? Anger? What was it?
Yeah. So I'm super good at a pity party. So that can happen.
And was that the world's against me? Everyone's out to get me. Nobody
kind of more self-loathing than that. Just more self-directed than other people, really.
Okay.
Yeah, just if feelings of failure and you think I'm headed this direction now and it's gonna be, and then that direction that disappears and you're not going that direction anymore. And so you look for reasons, and
sure.
Some of them were mine. Some of them were my baggage, right? Some of them were the baggage of that partner of mine,
right?
That turned out playing out differently in the future. But it was just sadness, grief.
So moving forward, you this happened. It sounded like you said that in the 90s.
Yeah.
Mid 90s.
So I moved back here, and it wasn't. I met my ex-wife in '95, and we got married in '99. So we dated, and we were in the same social circle together for 3 years, and then got married, and we were all the group of friends who were married and didn't have kids and being crazy and wild.
How was your mental health through all of that? Were you struggling with any depression, sadness, like you talked about, any anxiety?
No, because I had, by that time, I'd landed a real good job in my chosen industry, which I still work in. So I thought, well, in the words of my father, who I love, what do you have to be upset about?
Yeah. As though our life is, our mental health is completely dictated by our current circumstances.
Right.
Okay. So walk us through when things changed, or what else precipitated some of these changes, or the challenges that brought you to face it.
Yeah. So what brought me to face it were the challenges and realizations that I had after the dissolution of my marriage. My ex and I, we made 2 great, beautiful kids together who are both, at college and doing great. I'm really proud of them. I'm sure she is too. but our relationship grew dysfunctional, and it grew dysfunctional on the backs of both of our mental states. I really believe, you know, I'm not going to speak for anybody other than myself, but I know that in order to cope, at least in my mind, in order to cope and survive the life I was living inside of my marriage, I was not good. There was infidelity. I did some bad things. I had what would be classified as a classic, midlife meltdown.
Yeah.
Absolute, manic behavior and just, not realistic thinking, right?
Do you attribute that to just loneliness, to boredom, to I don't know how to try to fix things with my current wife, my lack of sense of self? And your story is extremely common, John. It's extremely common. And,
we
a lot
hear
of
it every
this-
week, right?
yeah.
Or every other week.
Well, and I just had a group just the other night, and a lot of us were talking about these things and these challenges and the choices we made along the way that we're not proud of. So what do you make of that time in your life?
I was really angry.
Okay.
That's what I make of that.
Yeah.
If I look back on it and I think about, I was sad and I was depressed, no question.
Right.
Heavy depression. But I was real angry.
Yeah.
I was real angry because at first I thought I wasn't doing a good job trying to fix my relationship. Just if you can get out in front of everything,
Right.
you can control the outcome so that there's no, what I'm talking about.
Right.
Keep the boat steady.
Right.
I'm gonna run out there and do this.
Yeah.
Just
Make everything okay.
And the biggest thing I've been able, just to jump forward a bit, to help my kids in their lives is to understand that that's not a way to be.
Yeah. Meaning sacrificing yourself in every way, shape, and form?
In every way, shape, and form, in the hopes of directing an outcome that
Right.
you have no control over in any instance anyway.
Right.
So I lived a lot of that in my relationship. I think my internal logic went something to the direction of like, well, if I'm going to be treated like an asshole,
Yeah.
I can certainly be one.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm a pretty nice guy. People who know me.
Resentment and anger leads us to make choices that we wouldn't make if we weren't angry and resentful. Fair to say, without making excuses for us?
Absolutely. And I think that, again, your story is common from the standpoint of, again, with a lot of us guys, anger and control.
Yeah.
And anger is fine, but it's what do we do with that anger?
Yeah.
And the control, as like I've shared before, Mike Surge told me control is an illusion.
Right.
We really don't have any control.
No.
We can control our
Ourselves.
emotions, ourself, our responses to things.
That's right.
But other than that, we really don't have much control, but we really want it.
Yeah.
And then the angrier we get, the worse situation we get into, the more we want to control things.
Yeah.
And I think back at that point in my life, and anger doesn't even capture it. I was a rageful human
rage.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was amazing as I look back on how what I perceived as, I'll put on a smile and I'll make everybody happy. And if Bill were here, he'd talk about how his family told him they had to walk on eggshells. And
Yep.
and it was always just seething. And there comes this, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there comes this level of entitlement that comes with unchecked rage and resentment. I'm being treated away. I didn't really check that out, and I just perceived that. And sure, there was probably some absolute legitimate aspect of that.
Right.
But then we make choices that we think we're entitled to.
That we're entitled to make. Yep. I think that's pretty good analysis, because it wasn't like a hatched plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It was. Why not?
Opportunity.
I mean, yeah. And if I think about it, and the things that I regret about that, the things that happened.
Right.
The regret part all all focuses around my kids.
Right.
And not really representing the person that I am
Right.
with that behavior, and yet it's a piece of behavior that's going to stick out in their heads. Right. So that's
the hard part.
That's a regret for me.
And I'm guessing that who saw this personality? Who saw this behavior? Was it mostly your kids, your wife, your family, the
my
people that
behavior?
are yeah.
So I've been a traveling person for a long time. I've been working remote before they called it working remote.
And you're talking about anger and sort of
Yeah,
acting now.
the regrets.
And so what I would tell you is that my acting out pretty much happened away from home.
Okay.
The anger, I don't think my kids got a lot of anger off of me. Okay. There was plenty of tension in
How
our
old are
house.
your kids, John?
20 and 23.
Yeah. And both Mark and we have adult children, and it's trying to navigate these relationships with them and trying to have conversations about what was,
Yep.
how we were, where's the, what do we, how do we have these conversations with these kids, man? It's freaking hard.
Yeah, but we throw this one around in our Thursday night group so often, but we are doing a decent job, I mean, as a generation, for giving our children a language around this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, when I was a junior in high school, sitting there and not wondering what this feeling was,
Right.
even if I could have put a name on it,
Right.
what do you think it's like to tell the world you're a depressed kid at
Right.
1983?
Right. We've talked about that in here. I was pulling my hair out in the 4th grade in 1978,
Right.
and nobody paid it. My mom taught me how to do a comb over. I mean, nobody realized it was anxiety, right?
And again, what message would have you got that at that point? What do you have to be depressed for?
What do you depressed?
What are you going to school? You got a meal every day.
And also, let's go back to 1983 and think about the prospect of finding a therapist.
Right. Yeah.
You need a what?
Right.
Right.
Well, and I agree, and I think that it's, and I think there's no question we're doing a better job of setting the stage. I think about just sort of, I don't know my kids an apology for the mental health struggles I had, but I sure do want to have the opportunity, and I have, to talk about what it meant and what it looked like from me and how they learned. I'm such a big believer in the generational trauma and all this stuff that gets passed on if we don't talk about it.
Yes.
Deal with it. So tell me about why you reached out to Face It.
So I am lucky. I had two good friends involved with Face It. And when one of them, Art and Billy.
Yeah.
I've known Arthur since I was 10 years old, and I met Bill shortly thereafter, and I've known them both for that long.
Two very quality human beings.
Very. And Art, especially when I was going through my troubles, said, I know I've mentioned it to you before, but you might really want to consider meeting with Mark and Bill and talking about Face It, the group that I go to.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was, that's nice for Art. He's got to,
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice for me. I mean, it's been, without exaggeration, one of the most transformational things I've done for myself.
Well, we'll get into that with Mark in the next segment. But thank you for all you shared, John. This shit is not easy to come in here and talk about. And I value your honesty and the things you shared. So we'll save some space for you in the next segment to talk about the transformation. So we'll be right back. Launched in 2009, Face It is a Minneapolis-based nonprofit organization focused on working with men who deal with depression. Using a peer support model that leverages men's groups, mentoring, social activities like retreats, baseball games, and fishing trips, we provide more than 12,000 hours of free services to hundreds of men each year. And yes, I said free. We never charge for any of our peer support programs, and we will never ask you for a copy of your insurance card. If you're tired of feeling alone in your fight against depression, please visit us at faceitfoundation.org or drop Mark or Bill an email at info@faceitfoundation.org.
You're listening to the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. And now your hosts, Mark Meyer, Bill Deckus, and Mark Wick.
Well, welcome back to What's the Point podcast. Joined here today with John, and thank you for sharing all of that with us. And you know, when we ended that segment talking about how art and that was for him and that type of stuff. I always like to ask people, what was it like? What were you feeling the first time you walked in to a Face It meeting with a group? Obviously you met with Mark and Bill.
So meeting with Mark and Bill, that was a good meeting. I think we had a pretty good conversation. Like, I think our conversation came pretty easy. Going into my group the first time and, literally not knowing anybody, which is, I should say that if you guys haven't said it in the podcast before, if you know somebody in Face It, don't worry, you're not going to be in their group.
Exactly.
Because that's not really the point. That's a little counterproductive, and I totally agree with that. It was hard, but they asked me, and I think you might have asked me when I was in my initial interview with you and Bill, what are you trying to do? What's the help that you need? And one thing we haven't talked about today, talked a lot about guilt and anger and rage, but we haven't touched on shame. and I swear I was just born with a ton of it. Like, I've always had this shameful, sheepish feeling, even in my best moments, like, and I mean, that's kind of how my stuff manifests.
How do you define shame, John?
Anguish over prior behavior, anguish over perceived behavior, anguish over theoretical behavior. Just the I'm not good enough thing. And when you get a chance to say these things in front of people who are your peers, and by peers I don't mean age, but what of peers and all what we're trying to achieve, you name it and it loses a little bit of its strength, a little bit of its power, and it was hard to walk in there, but my goal, getting back to that, was I needed to change the soundtrack, right? Because I got the soundtrack running in my head. You're this, you're that, you're never going to be this, you're never going to be that, don't even try, you're a fake, you're a fraud, lot of imposter syndrome.
Yep.
Type stuff. And it's happened. I mean, I've been able to do that with the help of the group and sharing.
And that's where I give you a ton of credit, because how many people have had that initial meeting and they don't show up?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and again, we are from that era where suck it up, be tough, right? That's a sign of weakness, right? And I tell you, I think that for guys that say that they're not anxious, nervous coming in there, I call a little BS on that, because most of us are, because we're going in a room of 8 to 10 guys we don't know, and we're going to share personal stuff about our life that we think nobody's going to get that. Like, I'm the, you talk about that shame, like I'm the bad one, and they're like, yeah, big deal. We've done that. I mean, it is big deal, but it's not
you're
like,
right.
whoa. It's like we all have our own issues, and we can share it.
Yeah.
And boy, it's normalized a lot more, which it should be.
And the more you get a chance to listen, the more you realize how universal some of these experiences are.
Right.
And taking them out of people's heads and putting them out into the world with people who are willing to discuss it and give perspective.
Right.
And, by the way, also, once you get to know a group that you've been in for 3.5 years, they call you on your bullshit too.
Yeah.
Like, no, that was your answer last week, right? Because it was, and these people are, I have like 10 new extremely close friends who
And real friends are the ones who will call you on your BS. Real friends are the ones who will hold you when you're sharing your most despicable choice you've ever made, whatever that might be for each of us, and don't judge you. They don't say it's okay, good job. They say, wow, let's get this out and let's purge. I mean, for me, shame was purging.
Yeah.
And in purging, it eventually lost some of its anger, or its sort of it's just the nastiness of it. I can never change the choices I've made, but I can certainly change how I act in the future. I can certainly change how I relate to the things that happened at that point. Because again, if any of us, I think it was a Ted Lasso line, if we're judged by our weakest moment, we don't have a chance.
We're all awful. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I love, what you said. You called it a stereo. What did you?
A soundtrack.
A soundtrack. Again.
I'm a music guy, so
No, and I love that
music.
because I heard that one time. It's like a record, right? And those grooves, that becomes our thoughts. That becomes our stuff. But we can also change those.
Right.
How have you been able to change them? What are some of the tools that you've gotten that have allowed you to change that soundtrack?
I gained the discipline to create stronger boundaries in my relationships.
Good.
And by doing so, eliminated some of the sources of the soundtrack from my head. In other words, I was only going to make time for the people who would treat me in the way that I decide I'm going to be treated, and not treat me the way I'm not going to be treated. And if they can't live with that, then we won't be talking.
Right.
And I did that with a few people.
Bill likes to call that auditing your circle.
Yeah, right. And
Wish I could do that.
well,
And again, that was my point. Like, good for you, because again, we talk about these things to do, and I think that a lot of us, when we're in a decent frame of mind, we know that, but it's actually doing it, and the work piece, and the challenges.
so I guess maybe I had a little bit of a lucky convergence, right? I found Face It. Not so long after finding Face It, I started dating somebody who's still my partner. She's just wonderful and supportive, and someone who, from the beginning, I felt like, well, look, we're just meeting. Here's something about me. Like, this is, I'm not going to not tell people, like, this is who I am. This is what I do. And now, 3.5 years down the road, like, I can't wait to tell people about Face It, right? I tell people whenever I can, but that came together. I met my Face It folks. I had a meeting with a new therapist through a friend that I had come across. I was not with him for very long, but he really did help me. I kind of talked my way through the last, say, 5 years of my life, my relationship, my kids, all that stuff, and he gave me some really good insights as to what I could do to help myself. And I will tell you that those were the hardest things I've ever had to do. It's the hardest thing ever to tell your kids that you have put your mom in the penalty box, their mom in the penalty box, and until X, we can't talk.
Yeah.
It's hard to get people to understand that when they're not in the first person.
I don't hear any luck. I hear a lot of work.
I was just going to say, I'm gonna challenge you on that luck piece also.
Well, I think they kind of came together. So
You heard about Face It a long time ago. You eventually, Art had been telling you about Face It for years, you
Yeah,
said.
that's true.
Eventually you made a choice. And to me, you can be humble or you can do whatever you want to do with this. Our mental health starts getting better when we make the decision to stick in the bullshit while we work our way through it. Because it's painful, it's hard, it's confusing, it's everything. And it's the agreement that I'm not going to step out of it. I'm going to keep doing it.
And that was a question I had before. When you went through that initial breakup with your fiance from Orlando,
yeah,
and then you saw a therapist, and then you kept seeing that therapist.
I saw that therapist for Nah, for maybe 9 months or
Because
something.
then you were feeling better.
Yeah.
Right? And that we don't need that anymore.
Right.
And that's where we wait until we're drowning to get the help. And sometimes that's too late. But stick with it. You have to keep whatever that is.
Yep.
This work that you're doing, you have to keep doing it, even when we're feeling good. Because that's why we do. And you've had to choose to come back to face it, to come to those meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Choose to have these conversations. Choose to be vulnerable with this new partner. That's not luck. That's, as Mark always like, that's the work piece.
Well, then it's lucky I woke up.
Well, and
We
even
can say
that,
that.
I mean, whatever you want to say, I mean, I think within all of us, this is the universality of all of this. Within all of us is a desire to live our values. And your values, it wasn't lining up, and it presents itself as depression, it presents itself as anxiety, alcoholism, addiction, this is just my theory on all of this. And eventually we get to the point, I don't know which cliche you want to invoke, sick and tired of being sick and tired, rock bottom, whichever one you want to say, and you finally said, fuck, enough is enough.
Well, it was that. My version was more like, well, I clearly don't have the answers, and I'm not finding them.
Right.
Nope.
Vulnerability, ask for help, open ourselves up.
I needed it, and I got it, and I want to make sure we throw two things into this conversation before we end today. And the first one is another transformational part of my last few years has been the work I've been able to do with EMDR.
Yep.
And that came as a result of a program through Face It.
Yeah. Let me stop you. For those of you who don't know what EMDR is, it stands for Eye Movement Desensitization Reprocessing, and it's a trauma-based talk interactive therapy that's very helpful. And if you're out there listening to this, Google EMDR. Sorry, John.
No problem.
No.
I will tell you that there were aspects of my mental health that corrected themselves very quickly after EMDR that clearly many years of talk therapy didn't get to.
And I think we could get into a whole session on that. That's the limitations of talk therapy.
Yeah.
And that's the limitations of where we are in many ways on the front end of our therapies, is that my guess, let me ask, in that correction you just cited, the intensity of some of the shame went away, or the intensity of some of the past choices, which then allows you to move forward in a way that talk therapy sometimes can. I don't know if that's accurate.
No, that is accurate, and tying it all to the physical symptom you feel
100%.
around anxiety or around depression, around whatever it is you're trying to get to the core of.
If I could give somebody a magic pill to hold their shame on, put their shame on hold while they dealt with their lives, we'd fix everybody. The pain becomes so great we can't do it. That's why we avoid.
Well, we do have that magic pill. It's just got a whole lot of other problems with it.
True.
Actually, we have several of them.
We have
Yeah,
several.
yeah.
In fact, we have a bingo card in our group. So
So EMDR,
was and continues to be something that is a tool that's so useful for me. It's so fascinating to me that whether you are going through a traumatic experience or thinking about that traumatic experience, that your body literally doesn't know the difference between those
Right.
two things, and
Right.
so it manifests the same physical behavior that you would if you were in that situation. It's just understanding that is such a thing,
Yeah.
and how to self-soothe and think. But anyway, I digress.
No,
I just can't say enough about it. I still see the same therapist I was assigned through that group, and I'm not stopping. The second thing I wanted to make sure we said is that Face It's helped me incredibly, right? And I made great friends. But another great part of being a part of Face It is the nights when you think, I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to add today. Stand by, because those are going to be some of your best nights. Because you end up being able to let yourself go a little bit and actively listen and help somebody with a problem that you're not unfamiliar with. They've been talking about it for a while. They're having an issue. They need your help. And we're there.
Yeah.
And we're there to help each other. And, how did I stick with it? Ben keeps me accountable.
Right.
Ben is always...
Ben's a good man.
Yeah.
You're speaking like a guy who might be ready to be a facilitator.
I was just going to say.
I don't know. Has anybody ever asked you about that?
Some guy asked me about it on a pickleball court one time, but
Yeah, that guy drinks a lot. But
Yeah.
you're going to be good at it.
Yeah, better than a cold tub. Anyways, but I give you a ton of credit because all those things. Give yourselves the credit. Don't be so humble.
I'll
because
take the win, yep.
You have to do the work. And it's not always easy. And sometimes, whether it's EMDR, talk therapy, we have to face some things that aren't nice, right? But that's how we get through them.
Mm-hmm.
And the willingness to do that. And this is a process. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
We got to do the work, and it's hard.
you know, you have to look at yourself in this process, and that's hard. But, the other part that's hard is you end up having to take a hard look at your loved ones and the people around you and, what those relationships are to you, and if anything, what are they doing to you or what are they doing for you, right? To talk frankly about your parents is a tough road sometimes,
And we've talked about that in here many times. A lot of guys don't want to talk about what they grew up with because they feel like they're being disloyal. And really, our experiences are what they are, and it's okay to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to throw mom and dad under the bus.
Right,
Or,
right.
everybody
It's not
gets
to blame. It's
right.
that helped build the soundtrack.
Right.
Right.
So if we find out where that came from, we have a better chance of changing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I will just ask, before we take our final break here, has it been worth it? Are the relationships developing? Are they getting stronger with your kids? Your
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I am the place where my kids were 2 years ago this June compared to where we are today is an inversion. It is. I know that you don't understand this right now, and I'm sorry that you're upset, but I think you're going to see that this is the right thing. Dad, I need your advice on something.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening, and I'm not sure what to do.
It's powerful.
What a powerful tool you've given them.
It is something that is a work in progress, but I know how to work on it now. Like when I started with Face It, big part of it was I know I need to work. What is putting in the work? What does that mean? What is doing the work?
What are the tools?
And even when it was being said to me a year into Face, man, you're really doing the work. Talk about feeling like a fraud. Who are you talking to, man?
Right.
Who?
Right.
Like I'm just coming here and pouring my stuff out every night, and
Boom, that's the work.
That's the work.
That's the work.
and it feels awful, and it feels great,
And that's the work.
Yeah.
And the willingness to stick with it.
Absolutely.
It's the work. EMDR, that's
Well,
the work.
and then also setting the boundary is one thing. Enforcing it, sticking with it, making no exceptions, doing the hard stuff.
Right.
That's hard work.
Amen.
Well, thank you for sharing all that. We're going to take our final break, and then we will be right back.
At Brand Inc., we know your business's reputation rides on every detail, especially when it's on the road. Our commercial vehicle wraps combine eye-catching design, 3M-backed installation, and a seamless process built for busy teams. Whether it's one truck or an entire fleet, we help you turn heads, build trust, and grow your business. Your vehicles are always moving. Make sure your brand moves with them. Start your project at brandinc.com. That's Inc with a K, brandinc.com.
You're listening to the What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. And now your hosts, Mark Meyer, Bill Deckus, and Mark Wick.
Mark was just commenting, Mark Wick was commenting how fast these things go. And did it feel like it went fast, John?
Yeah, we're done?
Yeah, well, we got a few minutes left. We saved the good questions.
The good
till
questions,
end,
okay.
the
Yeah,
really
now
tough
Meyer's
ones.
questions.
Now, we're going to turn Andy loose on you any minute here. And while you may see a mild-mannered producer behind that glass, there's a guy waiting to ask some questions. So, you sit here and you share all this stuff, and it's complicated and it's hard, and I don't know about you, but I always wonder how people are going to hear what we say, and how the people I'm close to, if they're going to have questions about what was I alluding to. But think about all you shared, all you've been through, and now you're sitting at this table with a younger version of yourself who's walking into life and has traumas and challenges and has all these things and all this stuff you've learned now. John, what would you turn to yourself and say, hey, here's something I want you to know?
I would tell myself to worry a lot less about how other people feel, and worry a lot more about how you actually feel about something. Because I know my personality, and I know the person that I am, and I know often when I was growing up, I had my own independent mind, but I also needed to go where it was easiest, or and it didn't serve me great.
Yeah.
So I would say, care a whole lot less what other people think, because you're fine, man. You're fine. And I still have to tell myself that, right? Mm-hmm. I still care way too much about what that guy over there thinks, or that woman over there thinks. But yeah, I would tell myself it's just, none of it's all that important, man. Just.
Can I share a quick story on that?
Please, absolutely.
So basically, I used to be in another building. When I first started being a facilitator, can't cover that up. When I first started being a facilitator, it'd be 6 o'clock, the group. So Mark and Bill were usually out of there, and the building was locked, right? So we'd have to open up for the group to come in. And one night I show up there, a couple minutes before 6, and Bill's leaving. And I said to Bill, I'm like, this was early on, and I'm just starting to be a facilitator. I'm like, oh man, you didn't trust me. You didn't trust that I'd be here, and you have to be here, right? And I'll never forget, Bill said it, not in a mean way, but it just resonated with Fred. He said, you know what? I really don't think about you that much. Mm-hmm. But we feel like everybody's thinking about it. Everybody's watching what we do.
Right.
And they're really not.
No.
And that was such a great reminder. And that one rings true. Every time I think about that, I go back to Bill and thinking, they're probably really not thinking about me. I'm not really that important.
That's right.
It's a great tool to keep in the process of the shame thing, right? It's that reminder that people probably aren't in the moment thinking of us. And the thing I always, that saying, comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah.
So, well, we learned a lot today, that's for sure. Andy, what'd you learn? What'd you hear?
What did I learn? Shame is bad, which is news to me.
It's new to you?
No, it's not.
I
Actually.
didn't think so.
I think most people know, but I think most people, you can know it, but you can still be affected by it.
Yeah, you can still own it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shame is. Did you learn anything else? You learn any other insights or tidbits that jump out at you?
I mean, I've learned that when you have people on the show and you ask them how things have been, they're never like, perfect.
Yep.
I've never had anything go wrong in my life. Thank you for asking, Mel.
Yeah. Yep. It always boils down to what are people willing to share.
Yep.
Because we've all had it. So.
Everyone's got something.
How about you?
And that's a great point, Andy. And I tell people this all the time. Like, I'm in a much better spot, but I still have bad days.
Right.
It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. That's life.
But you're so much more well-equipped.
And you can deal with those, better.
Oh.
What did I learn?
What'd you learn today?
I'm going to tell you more, because I learned a lot about John. I've seen you at breakfast.
Yep.
I haven't really known you, heard your story. And I love the certain things like, the soundtrack and those types of things and how we do it and learn about all the work you put in. But the one thing that I heard the most, that I always say that we can give other people is hope.
Yeah.
And I think your story, and we don't know who it's going to resonate with, but I guarantee you it's going to resonate with some people. And the one thing that they're going to get out of your story, I believe, is hope. That if I put the time in, things can get better. Because sometimes when we're in that spot, we don't feel any hope.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to hear hope from your story. And that's why I appreciate you sharing so much about it and how you are different. So
Thanks.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I mean, I when I was asked if I was interested in doing this, I didn't hesitate, really, because I feel really strongly about Face It and what it's delivered for me, and what it's delivered for my friends. It just so happens that, and you're aware of this because of the management of the whole thing, but we have a couple new people in our group, 3 new people in our group, I think. And then one sort of newish in Andy. He's been around a little over a year, I guess. But so, there's some people in our group who are going through some of the same machinations that I had to go through when I was setting my boundaries and doing all that stuff and talking about how hard it is and hearing people try and say, I know, but if that doesn't happen, then see, I can do the end around and get up here and I can take care of this. I'm just sitting back there like, no, that's not the way to go. Yeah, but if I don't, then this person's nope, stop right there. You can't control this person.
Right.
And the things that you do are going to be perceived 10 times more than what that person says. So stick to the script.
Yep.
And we've seen a few different successes in our group on topics of that nature.
Yeah.
Set a boundary. Yeah, but if I do that, don't care. Got to not care, or care, but keep the boundary.
Right.
But being able to support other people in that and talk about that. It just, you mentioned breakfasts. Oh, Doug, I'm losing my lav here. There we go. Those have been one of the greatest discoveries for me. Is once I started coming to breakfasts, I don't think I've missed many since I started coming, because it's just so great to see the larger
Right.
face it, right? The people that I know now that aren't in my group. I don't have occasion to see them unless I go to breakfast or go to one of our events, right?
Yeah.
So I'm an enthusiastic supporter.
We can tell, and I love that. What did you learn today, John? What's something new you learned? Probably something about WIC, I would assume, but.
Yeah.
Probably that, yeah. We're kind of.
I already knew you were a tugboat, so.
Wow, don't.
See? Somebody who
Again,
appreciates what I do.
I have a different impression when I think about tugboat, but you do you. Okay.
Well, that probably fits into part of your impression. What'd you learn today, John?
I learned that I guess my story has a couple pieces that people could maybe pick out of it, and
So you learned you matter.
Sure. Yes, I learned I matter.
And I'm not asking you to believe it, but you learned that. Because I can see the redness and the discomfort that maybe you do matter.
Yep.
Accepting that.
Well, I don't know that I learned anything incredibly new today.
Okay, I'm going to back you up a second. We have a thing in Face It. When somebody says something like that to you, that you matter, there's a response.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay,
That was really
that's
nice
what
of
it
you.
was.
It's in the handbook.
Yeah, it's in the handbook.
That was really nice of you.
Page 1A.
If you're going to be a facilitator.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you.
There you go. So you learned that.
Yep. What'd you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that I could do these for hours. I could just sit here and chat.
Honestly, I was worried.
I get it. You wonder, how do you fill the time? But I could sit here and dissect and help people understand and share our stories. And there's so many. I always picture a big old whiteboard when we have these conversations, and being able to show, well, what about this? And what if I had gone there? And what did you learn? And this is happening. And it's just fascinating to me. And I think it's just never lost on me what a gift it is to get to sit with you, Mark, and Andy, and Bill's not here, but you, John. It takes courage to walk in here and admit to the stuff we've done.
Yep.
And I laugh so hard now when I think about that old held notion about toughen up, man up, hold that shit. Fucking cowards. Sorry.
All of them.
Yep.
If you're not willing to spill it and deal with it, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. I learned don't close the van on your head. I got the gash. Nobody seems to care about the gash.
We can't really see it from here.
Yeah, well,
we're sensitive.
Just for the
Andy
record.
and I were very concerned about you, and John, we just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, you mocked me. I'd just like everyone to realize I've probably done this show with a concussion. So, just so you know.
That'll that'll be useful later.
Yeah.
Well, now next time you're not going to have a concussion. They're going to be like, "Why aren't you any better?" It doesn't make any sense.
This is wow, Andy. Welcome to the crowd, man.
TBI, I think.
Thought I had a buddy. I thought I had a friend over here, and Andy. I see you. But Andy, you and Wick have dinner lately. Is that what this is all about?
Hey, I'm not saying I'm any good. I'm just saying I don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've all learned a lot, but I also want to give the floor for one last closing statement. You got 30 seconds, John.
All right, so I did learn something. And it's something that I learn every time I go to face it. And I'm not kidding, it needs to be a reminder. Anxiety, depression, shame, they lie.
Yeah.
They lie, they lie, they lie. And they are good at it. They can get you to believe anything.
Amen.
Yep.
And every other Thursday night and one Saturday a month, and sometimes on a pickleball court or a ball game, I get reminded of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's okay for the next day.
That's awesome.
Good for you.
Any last words, Andy?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I think we'll see you. So wait, we're going to do this again in 2 weeks or 1 week?
I can't remember.
1 week.
I think we're on
Okay.
next
We
week.
got another great
Okay.
guest coming in. So how about you, Wicker? You got anything you want to say before we?
Just,
Any
you know what?
apologize you need to do to me or anybody?
No, but just to
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
For being here today and sharing your story. And it's always great to get together here. It really is.
With me?
But don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Well, that's my. There it is. I knew I'd get one finger before we left. I can't tell you guys how much I love being here. I mean, I can tell you. I love it. I love you, Wick. I love you, John. Andy, I'm getting to know you. I love you. I love that we come in here and we do this. We're honest and we share, and I just think it's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't be 13 years deep into podcasting if it wasn't fun, right?
Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll have Bill back in studio next time, and providing he makes it
makes
back.
back.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's probably still listening.
Yep.
Anything you'd like to say to him if he is
He
still
might
listening?
stay in Vancouver.
You know what?
never
I would tell him real quick.
Yeah.
I just saw a show on Netflix. Poop Deck.
Yes.
Yeah, you should probably...
Poop Cruise.
Poop Cruise.
Poop Cruise. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
he might want to check that out before he gets off the ship.
Poop Cruise.
Yeah,
All right.
check it out.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yep, exactly.
Signing off with Poop Cruise.
Thank you both very much.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Take care.
You've been listening to What's the Point podcast, where you are the point. It's real men telling real stories, from depression to anxiety. No doctors or professionals, just real men talking about real issues. For more, visit the Face It Foundation's website at www.faceitfoundation.org to ask questions for future episodes. Send us an email at wtpointpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at What's the Point Podcast, and find us on Twitter at WTPointPodcast. Till next time. This is What's the Point podcast. And remember, you are the point.